Hey, this is Jared Rosenberg, a Nintendo World Report with my review of Sega 3D Classics Collection for the Nintendo 3DS. Over the last few years, Sega has released a number of 3D Classics for the Nintendo eShop. Every single one of the games in the 3D Classics series have been meticulously emulated in their translation to the Nintendo 3DS. Along with the utmost care in bringing the original arcade and console experiences to 3DS, Japanese developer M2 has also gone the extra mile by including alternative modes, improved graphics, and other extras in their games. Sega 3D Classics Collection contains 9 Sega games, mixing them in a comprehensive package that will bring joy to both new and old gamers. Upon boot up, you're greeted to a short intro animation that shows images from all of the included games. Afterwards, on the game selection screen, you can choose from the 7 titles that either originally appeared on the Sega Genesis or in the arcades. There's a separate extras area featuring the Sega Master System titles. Sega did a fine job of including games that come from a diverse set of genres. Racing fans will be enthralled by the kart racing fun in Power Drift. The arcade title certainly shares DNA with past Yu Suzuki racers such as Hang-On and Outrun, but Power Drift dazzles with even more impressive sprite scaling that creates a very convincing 3D effect. Players have 5 circuits to choose from, which each feature 5 racetracks. There's a secret stage for each circuit as well if you manage to finish in first on all tracks. Every course feels like a roller coaster. There's a lot of hairpin turns, and the track elevation is constantly changing. Compared to other Sega racers, the tracks are quite narrow, which can make passing other racers quite difficult, especially when it's easy to fly right off the track. Fans of Outrun, and arcade racers in general, will enjoy the 60 frames per second 3D graphics, pumping music, and nail-biting races to the finish. The inclusion of Puyo Puyo 2 in the compilation is extremely welcome as a big puzzle fan. In the 90s, the Puyo Puyo games usually were altered for Western release to feature graphics and characters from other franchises. Many may have fond memories of playing Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine or Kirby's Avalanche, which at their core feature the wonderful Puyo Puyo puzzle gameplay. The 3D Puyo Puyo 2 in this compilation is the original Japanese version. Connecting the jelly-like blobs may seem easy at first, but it's easy to get overwhelmed when your opponent makes multiple combos and sends a bunch of trash your way. The single-player mode has you play against numerous AI opponents with ever-increasing difficulty, and there is wireless local play multiplayer for those who have a friend who also own a copy of Sega 3D Classics Collection. Overall, the base gameplay is super addicting and will keep you engaged for a long time. It's the 25th anniversary of the original Sonic the Hedgehog, and it seems fitting that it's included in this collection. While I'm sure many have played this game already, it never gets old to roll on through Green Hill Zone. Sega's well-crafted platformer remains a lot of fun, and the 3D effect makes peering into the 3DS almost like viewing an animated diorama. Another Genesis title to make the collection is Altered Beast. At 5 years old, and accustomed to the NES, the graphics of Altered Beast blew me away, and the soundbite
Rise from your grave
will probably reverberate through my mind until the end of time. While I may still have some nostalgia for the game, Altered Beast has aged quite poorly. It can still be fun for a short while, but it's hard to love a game you can beat in an hour and has little to no difference on each playthrough. I was never going to buy Altered Beast standalone on the eShop, but it's nice to have in the collection for a quick jaunt. Galaxy Force 2 and Thunderblade are the behind-the-back shooters of the collection. Thunderblade does have some overhead shooting fun as well. In the arcades, both games excelled at pushing a crazy number of pixels and creating simulated 3D worlds. The 3D effect for both titles certainly enhances each title, creating a wonderful depth of field effect that is matched by few other titles on the 3DS. The 6 stages of Galaxy Force 2 have you dogfighting in unique areas, such as a lava planet and a plant world where vines will attempt to entangle your ship. Galaxy Force 2 may be pretty short, but it's an exhilarating ride from start to finish. On the other hand, Thunderblade may look pretty, but I found the action to be repetitive and lackluster. It's a wonderful game to look at, but Thunderblade's gameplay, similar to Altered Beast, is not that engaging in this day and age. Fantasy Zone 2W is possibly the most unlikely game in this collection. The sequel to Fantasy Zone originally debuted on the Sega Master System. In 2008, M2 decided to remake Fantasy Zone 2 using the arcade hardware that had powered the first Fantasy Zone. The graphically souped-up version was originally included on a Japan-exclusive PlayStation 2 title focusing on the Fantasy Zone series. Unlike many shooters of the 80s, which featured gloomy science fiction or war settings, Fantasy Zone 2 takes place in a whimsical and colorful 2D world. Players must shoot down enemy bases scattered throughout the levels, and have the ability to visit shops where they can upgrade their spaceship named Opa Opa. While the arcade mode alone is plenty challenging and enjoyable, Fantasy Zone 2W also adds a new mode called Link Loop Land, which transforms the game into an endless shooter. The new mode, which may remind players of Geometry Wars Retro Evolved, is very addicting and will please those who love beating their previous high score. Link Loop Land is just one of the extras found in the Sega 3D Classics collection. Many forget the original Sonic the Hedgehog did not feature the spin dash move. To include the move in the 3D Classics version, M2 reached out to Sonic co-creator and programmer Yuhi Naka for tips on how to implement it. The collection's version of Galaxy Force 2 also includes some improved graphical effects, such as transparencies, which were originally added in M2's PlayStation 2 port of the title. Many of the titles also have new widescreen modes so that the action can completely fill the 3DS screen. One thing sorely missed in the collection is online multiplayer. While Altered Beast and Puyo Puyo 2 have wireless local play, it would have been a ton of fun playing these games with opponents all over the world. It's especially disappointing when one of M2's final virtual console releases on the Wii was the arcade version of Puyo Puyo with Nintendo Wi-Fi connection support. This collection marks the first home/portable releases of Power Drift and Puyo Puyo 2 in North America. All of the games are easy to pick up and play for a few minutes, but most are also addictive enough that you'll be playing for much longer. M2 and Sega have executed a very polished compilation of games. They run exactly as you remember or better, and M2 demonstrates once again they are the masters of converting 2D titles into 3D. If you've ever basked in the warm glow of a Sega arcade machine and wished you could take that experience on the go, then Sega 3D Classics Collection should be right up your alley. Read the written review at NintendoWorldReport.com. Thank you.